American culture, Mexican culture, whatever, everything is an opportunity. Russian, of course. If I knew something, I would, of course. To me, everything is an opportunity for our students to learn vocabulary and also, and very important, to have fun. After all, who doesn't like to have fun? Yes. Well, one of my main and my favorite all-time holidays is Halloween. Why? Because I get to dress up, and I get to be someone that I'm not. Okay, and who doesn't love doing that? You know, I do. All right, so I said my students, all right, everybody needs to wear a costume. Obviously, teacher, we are in Mexico. We celebrate the Day of the Dead. Okay? So, every semester, well, not every semester, because every year, right? Okay. Every year, I have to fight that. Okay? I have to convince them that it's only a party. We are only going to have fun. We are not worshiping the death or the devil or any other monster. Okay? We are just going to get together, eat something, eat candy. I make them bring the pumpkin container, and everybody brings a bag of candy. We share candy, and we eat a cake or something, and we have fun. Of course, I do activities in English, puzzles, games, different things. The idea is that they learn the language and also have fun by doing so. All right, but because they have all of that, the history, the beliefs, and everything. Even their parents sometimes don't help. Yes or no? Sometimes parents, if you worked in elementary or in secondary, they go into the school and say, why are you celebrating this? This is not part of our culture. We need to celebrate our culture. They see this as a betrayal to our Mexican culture. Yes or no? Yes. Have you ever had that kind of problem with parents? Okay? So we have to convince not only the kids or the students, but parents as well. And sometimes even directors of the schools or the teachers themselves, especially if you have teachers from other religions. Oh, no, that's there you got an issue right there, right? I won't even try to convince them to celebrate anything like that because, I mean, no, it's impossible. So I do what I can, right? But because of that, all this culture, we have these barriers for our students to start producing. They want to learn the language because what they think is because I need it for my job, to have a good job, because that's what everybody knows. But not because they really want to learn a new language, okay? They feel maybe that's a betrayal to their own history, to their own culture. Okay? And we as teachers have to fight that. Somehow we have to give them the tools to grow. Okay? And we have to also eliminate or break down those barriers. All right? That will help our students grow, which is the ultimate objective. Okay? All right. We have also this local ethnopsychology has been upgraded from cultural beliefs and social dimensions and the personality traits to apparently idiosyncratic levels of satisfaction of needs. Because if they have the need of learning, that's why they come to us to learn the language somehow, okay? Breaking those barriers down, all right? And Diaz Guerrero he made some typology of the Mexicans with these 4 main characteristics. Let's start with the first one. The first typology of our students, it's called passive affiliative obedient type. I think if we read the characteristics, you will find some of your students, okay? It is the most common of the Mexican culture, and it is most frequently found in the lower classes, women and younger individuals. They are characterized for being obedient, affectionate, disciplined, and not very assertive. They like to belong in a group. They don't want to be autonomous so much. Do you identify some of your students in this category? I belong to this category, okay, I must say. As a student, I was like that, all right? I would do whatever they told me. I would be passive and I would be disciplined. But these people also have they are willing to learn, okay? I remember when I was in secondary school, I went to public school, secondary. We were like 60 students, all right? And I remember we used to have this what's called free hour or social hour. Nowadays, students, what do they do in free hour? Nothing. They just talk, all right? Gossip, all right? But back then, in my class, I don't know where we were special or something, but we had this, we had social hour or free hour, and we had our performance. And we were 60, no teacher. And I don't know why one of them would imitate Sandro de America. I don't know if you recall Sandro. And everybody was laughing and blah, blah, blah. One would say a poem or something, and you know, we were all performers. And I would sing in English because that's what I like doing. And I remember I would stand in front of the class, 60 students. Do you know how difficult it is to have 60 students of public school, secondary, all quiet at the same time? Not easy, not an easy task. So I would be in front of everybody, trying to sing, okay? Nothing would come out of my mouth because I was so nervous. And they would be very patient, just like you are right now, okay? And I would try to sing that song that I knew because it was the only one, Love Story. And until finally, a little shred of my voice would come out, and everybody would quiet down so they could listen to me. But I would accomplish the task of singing that song for them because that's what they were expecting. Every social hour, same song, okay? And they will be happy to listen to me, okay? It was very, very nice class. Okay, then we have the self-affirming and rebellious character. Okay, this is the most common and characterized by high classes of society. They are strongly independent and they are often individuals that are challenged and argue with others. They are dominating, they will get their own way. I'm sure you probably can identify some of your students in this type, okay? You might have some problems with them at the beginning, but at the end I think they can accomplish their tasks, okay? And they can also learn. You need to include them too, all right? The third type, we have the active internal control type. This one is the most outstanding, maybe one or two in each class you might have, okay? Mostly in men, capable, affectionate, orderly, obedient, polite, brilliant when it comes to vocabulary, very articulated, okay? They might become politicians. They get gorgeous, responsible. They do not get angry easily, very, very committed to their studies, all right? And then we have the passive external control type. This is the worst. If you have one of them in your classes, good luck to you, all right? Okay? This type is the opposite, okay? Is the worst features of the Mexicans. But they do exist, okay? And they might be in your classes, all right? So we need to be ready and think the way we are going to deal with these students, all right? But now, how can we overcome these barriers? My experience, and it might sound corny to you, but with love, care, and patience, all right? Of course, first of all, you need to have the knowledge. You need to know what you do, all right? You need to know your stuff, your subject, all right? And they need to know that you know, because if they see you like starting, they will notice that, all right? But you need to raise their self-esteem, to give them motivation, especially tell them they can do it, because 50% of my students they think they can't. They come to my class first day, English, I can't speak English. They have had so many bad experiences that they have implanted in their brain that they can't, okay? And it's very difficult to overcome that and to erase that. But we can do it with love, patience, and care, okay? Show them that you care, all right? Very controlled practice. I use a lot of controlled practice because if you raise the bar too high, they get very disappointed and very discouraged. All right? So you keep the bar just enough. They will be a little bit of challenge for them, but a challenge that you know they can accomplish. All right? Otherwise, they say, no, I told you I can't. All right? And it's not what we want. We want to prove them they can. So what I do is I give them the motivation. I give them very controlled practice where they have very little room for mistakes. Okay? And what kind of they do? No, not they do. Okay. All of these activities they can do and they can help them. All right? The role play, board games, find someone who, reporting, interview, storytelling, and more, that I'm sure you have more strategies to build their confidence. Find someone who is someone that we have probably all done. You can create these. All right, what are we studying here? Simple present. All right, they need to practice simple present. All right, so there's with this type of activities, there's very little room for error, for mistakes. Okay, you have to find someone in the class who has a new cell phone. Get up and go with your notebook and ask, how do you make the question? Do you have a new cell phone? Not very difficult, right? The person says, oh, no, I don't. Okay, you didn't find then the person who has a new cell phone. You need to go and ask someone else. Until finally someone says, oh, yes, I do. You found the person. You write the name. Juanita has a new cell phone. Yes? And you just emphasize that the type of question, do you and are you? They love that. Find someone who is in love. How do you have to make question? How do you make the question? Are you in love? So go and ask everybody to find who is in love. Okay, that's what they do. They feel comfortable because they know what they're saying and they're saying it correctly. Okay, very, very controlled practice, but they are starting to produce, and more important than anything, they are overcoming the fear and they are starting to believe in themselves and starting to think, oh, it's not that difficult. I can do it. I think I can do it. Okay? And also interview, just because they are beginners doesn't mean they don't like interesting topics. Politics, for example. I mean, you would like to have a debate, discussion of who is better than other, but that will take a lot of vocabulary and good command of fluency, okay? And they might not have that, but they also are willing to participate. Last month we have the elections in my state. He's my new governor, Cabeza de Vaca. Okay. All right, and he won. Okay, so the next day of the elections, I had class. So I did this. They had to interview each other. All right. It didn't matter if they were for Cabeza de Vaca or Baltasar or the other one. It's not about that. Okay, but they asked, did you vote yesterday? I practiced the questions first. Did you vote yesterday? Did you vote yesterday? Many times. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Okay. They interview each other, all right? But they were talking about something that just happened, okay? That it was fresh in their memories, that they were interested in it because it was politics, all right? And it was something big in my state. Okay, so they were very much involved in that, and they were able to do it, to carry out the conversation at a with very good results. Okay, that's another activity that I do, is 1 minute autobiography. That's memorization, but you have to begin with memorization because they believe they can't do anything. Okay, you can't. Okay, you memorize it. Once they memorize, I'm surprised. Because it's just like they are speaking so fluent. it's like our person said, I thought you said you can't. 1 minute autobiography, they have to be someone they are not and talk about their biography in first person, okay? And they choose always all sort of characters. You probably recognize Salinas de Gortari, and she's Maria Felix, and La Lavanderas, I don't know if you're familiar with them, and the Captain Hook or some. They bring all those sort of characters. They love it, okay? Some of them, they even perform. One had been Selena, but the old Selena, you know, the one that used to do that. And one of them was, I don't know, Abraham Lincoln. A little girl dressed up like Abraham Lincoln. And one guy, he dressed like Britney Spears and started dancing. Yeah, it's so you have those sort of characters, but it's fun. They love it. It's fun. Or if you want to get a little more than that, I created another that is it's called items with a story. They have to bring an item that has a story, personal for them, and they have to tell the story. They love doing that as well. Okay, so but you have to be ready because maybe some of them might break down. Okay, because they bring items maybe they were given to them by an old dead grandfather or their parents or things like that. They get very emotional with the items with the story. Okay, well, this is all for my presentation. But let me tell you, that I want to close this with something that I saw in Mestizo and that I really believe and that I wanted to share with you. We are teachers working in a community. We are leaders called to serve. And this is why we all must raise our hand and say yes. And in this part, I would like you to say yes with me. If you will, please repeat after me with all the energy and the attitude you can. Yes, I will help others.